Hare Krishna, welcome back to the daily reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll chant the prayers first. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvai Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shetapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshra Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishavanu Sute Devi Panamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpataruvescha Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestha Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are in 10th canto, 18th chapter, 14th number verse. So 18th chapter, Lord Balram slays a demon Pralamba. Kvachit Bilvai, Kvachit Kumbhai, Kvacha Malaka Mushtivi, Asprashya Netrabandhadya, Kvachin Mriga Khage Haya, Kvachit sometimes Bilvai with Bilva fruits, Kvachit sometimes Kumbhai with Kumbha fruits, Kvacha and sometimes Amalaka Mushtivi with palmfuls of Amalaka fruits, Asprashya with games such as trying to touch one another, Netra Bandha, trying to identify another when one is blindfolded, Adyai, and so on, Kachit, sometimes, Mriga, like animals, Khaga, and birds, Ihaya, acting. Translation purport by the humble servants of Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Sometimes the cowherd boys would play with bilva or kumbha fruits and sometimes with handfuls of amalaka fruits. And at other times, they would play the games of trying to touch one another or of trying to identify somebody while one is blindfolded. And sometimes they would imitate birds and animals and birds. So sometimes the cowherd boys would play with different kinds of fruits like bilva or kumbha fruits and sometimes with the amalaka fruits, and at other times they would play some games trying to touch one another, or blindfolded, and sometimes they would imitate animals and birds. Purport. Srila Sanatan Goswami explains that the word adya by other such sports indicates such games as chasing one another or building bridges. Another pastime would occur at noon while Lord Krishna was taking rest. Nearby, the young cowherd girls would be passing by singing, and Krishna's boyfriends would pretend to inquire from them about the price of milk. Then the boys would steal yogurt and other items from them and run away. Krishna, Balram, and their friends would also play games in which they would cross the river in boats. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further explains that the boys would play with fruits by throwing a few in the air and then throwing others to try to hit them. The word Netrabandha indicates a game in which one boy would approach a blindfolded boy from behind and place his arms over the blindfolded boy's eyes. Then, simply by the feel of his palms, the blindfolded boy would have to guess who the other boy was. In all such games, the boys would put stakes for the winner, such as flutes or walking sticks. Sometimes the boys would imitate the various fighting methods of the forest animals, and at other times they would chirp like birds. 15th verse. Kvachi cha dudura plavai vividha upahasakai kadachit sandolikaya karhi chinripa cheshtaya. Kvachit, sometimes, cha and darduda, like frogs, plavai, with jumping, vividha, various, upahasaka, with jokes, kadachit, sometimes, sandolikaya, with riding in swings, Karhichit, and sometimes Nripa Cheshtaya, with pretending to be kings. Translation: They would sometimes jump. They would sometimes jump around like frogs, play various jokes, sometimes ride in swings, and sometimes imitate monarchs. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the word Nripa Cheshtaya as follows. In Vrindavan, there was a particular place on the river bank where people who wanted to cross the Yamuna would pay a small tax. At times, the cowherd boys would assemble in this area and prevent the young girls of Vrindavan from crossing the river, insisting that they had to pay a customs duty first. Such activities were full of joking and laughter. 16th verse एवं तौ लोकसिद्धाभिः क्रीडाभिश्चेरतु वने नदी अद्रि द्रोणीकुञ्जेषु काननेषु सरहसु च Evam, in this Tau, the two of them, Krishna and Balram, Lokasidhabhi, which are well known in human society, Kridabhi, with games, Cheratu, they wandered, Vane, in the forest, Nadi, among the rivers, Adri, mountains, Droni, valleys, Kunjeshu, and groves, Kananeshu, in the smaller forests, Sahasru, along the lakes, Cha and. Translation: In this way, Krishna and Balram played all sorts of well known games as they wandered among the rivers, hills, valleys, bushes, trees, lakes of Vrindavan. 17. Pashums Charatayator Gopaistadvane Ramakrishnayo Goparupi Pralambo Gad Ashuras Tad Jihirshaya. Pashu, the animals, Charayato, while the two of them were herding Gopai along with the cowherd boys, Tatvane, in that forest Vrindavan. Ramakrishnayo, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. Goparupi, assuming the form of a cowherd boy, Pralamba, Agat, came. Asura, the demon, Tat them, Jihirshaya, with a desire of kidnapping. Translation: While Rama, Krishna, and their cowherd friends were thus tending the cows in that Vrindavan forest, the demon Pralamba entered their midst. He had assumed the form of a cowherd boy with the intention of kidnapping Krishna and Balaram. Purport: Having described how Krishna and Balram acted just like ordinary boys, Sukadev Goswami will now reveal one of the Lord's transcendental pastimes that is beyond range of human activity. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the demon Pralamba disguised himself as a particular cowherd boy who on that day remained at home with duties to perform. तं विद्यान् इति अपि दाशार्हो भगवान् सर्वदर्शन अन्वो मद्दता तत्सख्यं वधं तस्य विचिन्तयन् तं him Pralambasura vidwan knowing quite well api even though Dasharha, the descendant of Dasharha, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarvadarshana, the omniscient, Anvamodata, accepted that with him, Sakhyam, friendship, Vadam, the killing, Tasya, of him, Vichintayan, meditating upon. Translation: Since the Supreme Lord Krishna, who had appeared in the Dasharha dynasty, sees everything, he understood who the demon was. Still, the Lord pretended to accept the demon as a friend, while at the same time seriously considering how to kill him. 19th verse Tatra Pahuya Gopalan Krishna Prahar Viharavit He Gopa Viharishyamo Dwandi Bhuya Yatha Yatham Tatra, thereupon, Upayuhuya, calling Gopalan, the cowherd boys, Krishna, Lord Krishna, Praha, spoke Viharavit, knower of all sports and games. Hey Gopa, O cowherd boys, Viharishyama, let us play Dwandi Bhuya, dividing into two groups, Yatha Yatham, suitably. Translation: Krishna, who knows all sports and games, then called together the cowherd boys and spoke as follows: Hey cowherd boys, let's play now. We will divide ourselves into two even teams. Then next, okay, purport is there. The word yatha yatham means that Krishna naturally wanted the two teams to be evenly matched so that there would be a good game. In addition to the pleasure of sporting, the purpose of the game was to kill the demon Pralamba. 20th verse Tatra Chakrur Parivridhau Gopa Rama Janardhanau Krishna Sanghatina Kechit Asan Ramasya Chapare. Tatra, in that game, Chakru, they made Parivridhau, the two leaders, Gopa, the cowherd boys, Rama, Janardana, Lord Balaram and Krishna. Krishna Sanghatina, members of Krishna's party, Kechit, some of them, Asan, became Ramasya of Balaram, Shah and Apare, others. Translation: the cowherd boys chose Krishna and Balaram as the leaders of the two parties. Some of the boys were on Krishna's side and others joined Balaram. Acheru vividhakridha vaya vahaka lakshana yatrarohanti jetaro vahanti cha parajita. Achayu, they perform Vividhai, various Krida sports via by the carried, Vahaka, the carrier, Lakshana, characterized Yatra, in which Arohanti, climb, Jetara, the winners, Vahanti, carry, Cha, and Parajita, the defeated. So translation: the boys played various games involving carriers and passengers. In these games, the winners would climb up on the backs of the losers who would have to carry them. So the game was so chosen that they could have fun, as well as Krishna was thinking how to kill this Asura Palamba Asura. In the purport, Srila Sanatan Goswami quotes the following relevant verse from the Vishnu Purana 5.9.12. Harina kridanam nama bala kridana kam tatam prakridata hi te sarve daudau yugapad utpatan. Then they played the childhood game known as Harina Kridanam, in which each boy paired off with an opponent and all the boys simultaneously attacked their respective rivals. 22nd, Vahanto Vahyamanascha Charayantascha Godhanam Bhandirakam Namavatam Jagmu Krishna Purogama. Vahanta, carrying, Vahyamana, being carried, Cha and Charayanta, tending, Cha also Godhanam, the cows, Bhandirakam Nama, named Bhandiraka. Vatam, to the banyan tree, Jagmu, they went, Krishna Puragama, led by Lord Krishna. Translation: thus carrying and being carried by one another at the same time tending the cows, the boys followed Krishna to a banyan tree known as Bhandiraka. Thus carrying and being carried by one another and at the same time tending the cows. Wow, so expert, they can do multiple things at the same time. So, purport: Sri Sanatan Goswami quotes the following verses from Sri Harivamsa Vishnu Purana 11.18 to 22, which describes the banyan tree. Dadarsha it's a series of verses. Dadarsha Vipulodagra Shakinam Varam Stitam Dharanyam Meghabham Nibidam Dala Sanshaya Ganga Gaganardho Shri Takaram पर्वताभोगधारिणं नीलचित्राङ्गवर्णैश्च सेवितं बहुवि खगै फलप्रवालैश्च घनैः घनोपमं भवनाकार विटपं लतापुष्पसुमण्डितं विशालमूलावनतं पावनाम्बोधधारिणम् आधिपत्यम् अवार्येषां तस्य देशस्य शाकिनां कुर्वाणं शुभकर्माणं निरावर्षम् अनापतं न्यग्रोधं प्रवताग्राभ्यां Bham Bhandiram Nama Namata. So this is a series of 5 verses together. So meaning of these verses is, translation of these verses is, they saw that best of all trees which had many long branches. With its dense covering of leaves, it resembled a cloud sitting on the earth. Indeed, its form was so large that it appeared like a mountain covering half the sky. Many birds with charming blue wings frequented that great tree, whose dense fruits and leaves made it seem like a cloud accompanied by a rainbow, or like a house decorated with creepers and flowers. It spread its broad roots downward and carried upon itself the sanctified clouds. That banyan tree was like the lordly master of all other trees in that vicinity, as it performed the all auspicious function of warding off the rain and the heat of the sun. Such was the appearance of that Nyagrodha tree known as Bhandida, which seemed just like the peak of a great mountain. Next was Rama Sangatino Yarhi Sridama Vrishabhadaya Kridayam Jainastamstan Uhu Krishnadayo Nipa Rama Sangatina. The members of Lord Balram's party Yarhi went Sridama Vrisha Adaya, Sridama Vrishabha and others such as Subala. Kridayam in the games, Jaina, victorious, Tan, each of them, Uhur, carried Krishna Adaya, Krishna and the members of his party, Nripa, O king. Translation: My dear King Parikshit, when Sridama, Rishabha, and other members of Lord Balram's party were victorious in these games, Krishna and his followers had to carry them. So Krishna, Balram's parties, they were victorious. So Krishna and his party members have to carry them on their back, on their shoulders. Yeah. 24. Uvaha Krishna Bhagavan Sridamanam Parajita Rishabham Bhadrasenastu Pralambo Rohini Sutam. Uvaha carried Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sridamanam, his devotee and friend Sridama, Parajita, being defeated, Rishabha, Bhadrasena too, and Palamba, Rohini Sutam, the son of Rohini, Balaram. Translation: defeated, the Supreme Lord Krishna carried Sridama, Bhadrasena carried Rishabha, and Pralamba carried Balaram, the son of Rohini. Defeated, the Supreme Lord Krishna carried Sridama, Bhadrasena carried Vrishabha, and Pralamba carried Balaram, the son of Rohini. Purport: one may ask how Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord, can be defeated by his boyfriends. The answer is that in his original form, God has the most playful nature and occasionally enjoys submitting to strength or desire of his loving friends. A father may sometimes playfully fall down to the ground when struck by his beloved little child. These acts of love give pleasure to all parties. Thus, Sridama carried to ride on Lord Krishna's shoulders to please his beloved friend, who happened to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next verse, 25th verse. So we see it very clearly that Krishna also takes pleasure in submitting to his friends, who are actually not ordinary souls but actually pure devotees of the Lord. 25th verse, Avishahyam Manyamana Krishnam Danava Pungave Vahan Drutataram Pragad Avarohanata Param. Avishahyam, invincible. Manyamana, considering Krishnam, Lord Krishna, Danava Pungavai, that foremost demon. Vaham, carrying Drutataram, very quickly. Pragat, he went off. Avarohanata Param, beyond the place marked for climbing down. Translation: considering Lord Krishna invincible, that foremost demon Pralamba quickly carried Balaram far beyond the spot where he was supposed to put his passenger down. So he went on carrying Balaram beyond where he was supposed to stop. So purport, Pralamba wanted to carry Balaram out of Lord Krishna's sight so that he could cruelly attack him. Next verse, तम उद्वहन् धरणीधरेन्द्र गौरवं महाशुरो विगतर्षयो निजं वपु सा आसीत पुरत परिच्छदो बभूव तदिद्युमान उदुपति वाद Ivambuddha. Tam him Lord Baladeva Udvahan carrying high Dharani Dhara Indra like the king of the mountains Sumeru. Gauravam with whose weight Mahasura the great demon Vigata Raya losing his momentum Nijam his original Vapu body Sa he Astita becoming situated in Purata golden Parichada having ornaments Babu he shone Tadit like lightning Duman, flashing Udupati, the moon, Vat carrying Eva, just as Ambuda, a cloud. Translation: as the great demon carried Balaram, the Lord became as heavy as massive Mount Sumeru. And Pralamba had to slow down. So Balaram, he is also the first expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he could recognize that he was a demon and while the demon was carrying him, he became very heavy, and therefore Pralamba had to slow down. He then assumed his actual form, an effulgent body that was covered with golden ornaments and that resembled a cloud flashing with lightning and carrying the moon. Purport: here the demon Pralamba is compared to a cloud, his golden ornaments to lightning within that cloud, and Lord Balram to the moon. So the comparison is like this, that his ornaments are like the lightning within the cloud, and Lord Balram to the moon shining through it. Great demons can assume various forms by exerting their mystic power, but when the Lord's spiritual potency curtails their power, they can no longer maintain an artificial form and must again manifest their actual demonic body. So initially he had disguised himself as that of a cowherd boy, but when he was carrying Balram, he became so heavy. So in the presence of the spiritual potency of the Lord, he could not disguise himself in that manner as a cowherd boy, and he had to manifest his actual demonic form. Lord Balram suddenly became as heavy as a great mountain, and although the demon tried to carry him high on his shoulders, he could not go on. So yes, to he too. So we'll see further what happens. 27th verse. Nirikshya tadvapur alam ambare charat pradipa drigbrhukuti tatogra damstrakam jalak chikam kataka kirita kundala tvishad bhutam haladhara. So Isad Atrashad. So Haladhar is another name for Lord Balaram. Niriksha, seeing Tad of Pralambasura Vapu, the body, Alam quickly, Ambara in the sky, Charat moving, Padipta blazing, Drik, his eyes, Vrukuti of his frown upon his eyes, Tata on the edge, Ugra, terrible, Damshrakam, his teeth, Jalat, fiery, Shikam, hair, Kataka, of his armlets, Kirita, crown, Kundala, and earrings, Tvisha, by the effulgence, Adbhutam, astonishing, Haladhara, Lord Balaram, the carrier of the plough weapon, Ishat, his a little, Atrasat became frightened. Translation: when Lord Balram, who carries the plough weapon, saw the gigantic body of the demon as he moved swiftly in the sky, with his blazing eyes, fiery hair, terrible teeth reaching toward his scrolling brows, and an amazing effulgence generated by his armlets, crown, and earrings, the Lord seemed to become a little frightened. So, because he was probably because he was acting like a small cowherd boy, um, a child, so he appeared to be seemed to be little frightened. Robert, Srila Sanatan Goswami explains Lord Balram's so-called fear as follows. Balram was playfully acting out of the role of an ordinary cowherd boy, and to maintain the mood of this pastime, he appeared slightly disturbed by the horrible demoniac body. Also because demon had appeared as a cowherd boyfriend of Krishna's, and because Krishna had accepted him as a friend, because when Pralambasura took the form of this cowherd boy, he was on the side of Krishna's party. So, and because Krishna had accepted him as a friend, Baladev was slightly apprehensive about killing him. Balram could also have been worried that since this cowherd boy was actually a demon in disguise, at that very moment another such demon might have been attacking Lord Krishna himself. So these are three different reasons. First was what? because he was playing the role of a little cowherd boy as an ordinary child, so he was appeared to be frightened in order to maintain the mood of the pastime. Second reason is that the demon was actually because in the game he became friend of Krishna. Krishna accepted him as a friend, so he was little apprehensive whether to kill him or not, like that. So second reason, and the third reason is that because here the demon was trying to attack Balaram, so he was thinking, is it that some other demon at the same time is trying to attack Krishna? So these are three reasons for his becoming little frightened, seemingly frightened. Thus, the omniscient and omnipotent Supreme Lord Balram exhibited the pastime of becoming slightly nervous in the presence of the horrible demon Pralamba. अघात अतः अथागत स्मृतिरभयो रिपुं बलो विहाय सार्तुम् इव हरन्तम् आत्मना जुषाहन शिरसि दृढेन मुष्टिना सुराधिपो गिरिम् इव वज्ररंहसा. Atha then Agata Smriti, remembering him Abhaya without fear, Ripu, his enemy, Vala, Lord Balram, Vihaya, leaving aside, Sartham, the company, Iva, indeed, Harantam, kidnapping, Atmana, Rim himself. Rusha, angrily, Ahanath, he struck Shirashi upon the head, Dridhena, hard, Mushtina, with his fist, Suradhipa, the king of the demigods in the Gidim, a mountain, Iva, just as Vajra on of his thunderbolt weapon. Ramhasa with the swiftness. Translation. Remembering the actual situation, the fearless Balram understood that the demon was trying to kidnap him and take him away from his companions. The Lord then became furious and struck the demon's head with his hard fist, just as Indra, the king of the demigods, strikes a mountain with his thunderbolt weapon. Purport. Lord Balram's powerful fist came crashing down upon the demon's head, just as a huge lightning bolt comes crashing into the mountain, cracking its stone surfaces into pieces. The words Vihaya Sartham Eva may also be divided Vihayasa Artham Eva, meaning that the demon was flying in the sky on the cosmic path, Vihayas, with the purpose of carrying off Balram, who was his Artham or object of pursuit, because he wanted to kidnap him and take him away from his other friends, coward boys, Krishna and coward boys. Next verse, Sa ahata sapadi mastako mukhad vaman rudiram अपस्मृतो सुरं महारवं वयूर अपतत् समीरयन् गिरिर्यथा मघवत आयुधाहत. Sir, he Brahmasura Ahata struck Sapadi at once, Vishirna split Mushtaka, his head, Mukhat from his mouth, Vaman vomiting, Rudhiram blood, Apashmrita unconscious, Asura the demon Maharavam, a great noise, Vyasu lifeless, Apatat he fell, Samirayan sounding, Giri a mountain, Yatha as Maghavata the of Lord Indra, Ayudha by the weapon, Ahata hit. Translation. Thus smashed by Balram's fist, Pralamba's head immediately cracked open. The demon vomited blood from his mouth and lost all consciousness, and then with a great noise he fell lifeless on the ground like a mountain devastated by Indra. दृष्ट्वा प्रलम्बं निहतं बलेन बलशालिना गोपासु विस्मिता आसन् साधु साधु इति वादिना. Drishtra, seeing Pralambasura, Nihatam killed Balena by Lord Balaram, Balashalina, who is by nature very powerful. Gopa, the coward boy, Su Vishmita, very most astonished, Asan became Sadhu Sadhu, very wonderful, Iti, these words, Vadina speaking. Translation. The coward boys were most astonished to see how the powerful Balram had killed the demon Pralamba, and they explained, excellent. So it was a very day-to-day thing for his coward friends that Krishna, Balram killing some demon. आशिषो विग्रहन्तस्तं प्रशंसुस्तदर्हणं प्रेत्यागतम् इवालिङ्ग्य प्रेमविफलचेतसा. Ashisha benedictions Abhigranata Offering profusely thumb to him, Prasashamsu, they praised Tat Arhanam, him who was worthy of such. Pretya, having died, Agatam, come back, even as if Alingya, embracing Prema out of love, Vivala, overwhelmed, Chetasa, their minds. Translation: They offered Balram profuse benedictions and then glorified him, who deserved all glorification. Their minds overwhelmed with ecstatic love, they embraced him as if they had come back from the dead. So, embraced him as if he had come back from the dead. Pape pralambe nihate deva parama nivrita abhyarvarshan balam manya savsham susadu sadhuti. Pape, the sinful pralambe palambasura nihate, being killed, deva, the demigods parama, extremely nivrita, satisfied, abhyarvarsan, showered. Balam, Lord Balaram, Malya, with flower garlands, Sasham, Shu, they offered prayers, Sadhu Sadhu Iti, crying, Excellent, excellent. Translation: The sinful Pralamba had been killed, the demigods were extremely happy, and they showered flower garlands upon Lord Balaram and praised the excellence of his deed. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta. Thus ends the purport of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, 10th canto, 18th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Balram slays demon Pralamba. So we go to the next chapter. We'll just read the summary of it, and then next time we'll continue with the verses. Chapter 19, Swallowing the Forest Fire. This chapter describes how Lord Krishna saved the cows and the cowherd boys from a great fire in the Munjaranya forest. One day, the cowherd boys became absorbed in sporting and allowed the cows to wander into a dense forest. Suddenly, a forest fire blazed up, and to escape its flames, the cows took refuge in a grove of sharp canes. When the cowherd boys missed their animals, they went searching for them, following their hoofprints, and the trail of blades of grass and the other plants they had trampled or had broken with their teeth. Finally, the boys found the cows and removed them from the cane forest. But by that time, the first fire had grown strong and was threatening both the boys and the cows. Thus, the cowherd boys took shelter of Sri Krishna, the master of all mystic power, who told them to close their eyes. They did so, and in a moment he had swallowed up the fierce forest fire and brought them all back to the Bhandira tree mentioned in the last chapter. Seeing this wonderful display of mystic power, the cowherd boys thought Krishna must be a demigod, and they began to praise him. Then they all returned home. So, when the cowherd boys they were playing one day, the cows wandered into a dense forest, and suddenly, a forest fire blazed up, and the cows were very frightened and took refuge in a grove of sharp canes. And other side, the cowherd boys were searching for their cows, and they tried to track them. So, as per their hoof prints and the grass which they have eaten or trampled with their feet. And finally, they found the cows and removed them from the cane forest. But by that time, the forest fire had become very strong and was very threatening for both the cowboys and the cows. And they took shelter of Krishna, and Krishna asked them to close his eyes, and he swallowed the whole forest fire. So seeing this mystic display of mystic potency, they all thought maybe Krishna is demigod, and they praised him. That's how it goes. So we'll stop here. We'll study the shlokas next time. So thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.